Have you ever met someone who feels almost uncomfortable to be around? Not because they're rude or awkward, but because they're so real it exposes how much everyone else is performing? They don't laugh when they don't find something funny. They don't pretend to agree just to keep peace. They don't soften their personality to be more acceptable. And what's strange is this: they're not trying to be authentic. They simply can't do anything else. You can sense it in how they speak, how they pause before answering, how they don't rush to fit into the moment. And sometimes you notice life hasn't been especially kind to them because of it. They've lost opportunities. They've been misunderstood. They've been labeled too intense, too quiet, or hard to read. Which raises a deeper question. Why can some people effortlessly adapt, perform, and blend in, while others feel almost physically incapable of pretending to be someone they're not? Modern society subtly teaches us that identity is flexible. We learn early that different environments reward different versions of ourselves. At work, one personality. With friends, another. Online, a curated version. For many people, this becomes second nature. They learn how to adjust, mirror, and perform without thinking too much about it. But for some, identity isn't something they put on. It's something they live inside. Their sense of self is internally anchored, not externally negotiated. So when they try to perform, something feels wrong. Not morally, but psychologically. Their body reacts with discomfort. Their thoughts feel split. Their energy drains. They're not bad at pretending. They're misaligned when they do. And that difference shapes how they move through the world. People who can't fake who they are often struggle in subtle ways. They feel pressure to soften their honesty, to hide their intensity, to act like they care about things they don't. And when they try, it drains them. Because pretending requires emotional energy. It requires constant monitoring of how you're being perceived. It creates an internal split between who you are and who you're showing. For someone wired for authenticity, that split feels unbearable. So instead of adapting outwardly, they stay consistent inwardly, even when it costs them opportunities, popularity, or comfort. There are several psychological and social factors that shape this trait. Some people develop strong internal compasses early in life. They learn to rely on their inner sense of right and wrong rather than external approval. Others grow up in environments where honesty was safer than performance, or where pretending created conflict instead of reward. Personality also plays a role. People high in self-awareness and emotional sensitivity often experience cognitive dissonance more intensely. When their actions don't align with their identity, it creates mental stress. So they instinctively avoid pretending, not out of principle, but out of self-preservation. For them, authenticity isn't a value, it's a need. Here's the paradox. Authentic people are often trusted deeply, but accepted slowly. They may seem distant, intense, or difficult at first because they don't play social games well. They don't flatter easily. They don't exaggerate. They don't adjust their opinions for approval. In environments that reward charisma, flexibility, and image, this can look like a disadvantage. But over time, something interesting happens. People start relying on them, trusting their word, seeking their perspective. Because authenticity compounds. I've seen people who refuse to fake themselves struggle early in life. They were overlooked, misjudged, sometimes even isolated. But years later, those same people became anchors. They built deeper relationships, more aligned careers, stronger self-respect. Not because life suddenly became easier, but because they never had to undo a fake identity. They didn't need to find themselves. They were never lost. If you're someone who struggles to pretend, don't rush to change that. Instead, ask yourself, what kind of life does someone like me need to build to thrive? If this resonated, share your thoughts below. Some of the most meaningful conversations only happen when people stop performing.